This is a video on changing the rear brakes on a Kia Sedona minivan. This happens to be a 2011 model. First thing you need to do is block the front wheels. Jack up the car and put it on a jack stand. The wheel cover is held on by the lugs, so you just go ahead and take them off then. Next, we're going to take a 14mm and break loose the caliper bolts. And we'll go ahead and remove the caliper bolts. And we'll remove the caliper. Next we'll put the piston back into the caliper. Just winding it back in with a old brake pad. Then we'll set that off to the side. Now we need to remove the caliper bracket. Again, it is a 14mm, and go ahead and knock them loose. The two bolts removed, you can take off the bracket and take the old shoe out, or the pad. There are two screws that hold the rotor on. It's very helpful if you have one of these impact deals. Next, there is a small rubber plug down here. Just take a screwdriver and remove that. And the idea behind that is to put a screwdriver in here and release the parking brake shoes, and that'll assist having the rotor come off a little easier. However, it's fine without it. I'm replacing the rotors. Before you do so, if they're brand new, you want to clean them off with brake clean on the inside and the back side. And once we put it on there, we will do it on the front. This little hole right here where that plug goes in, you want to line that up with this hole here, and then the other two screws will line up as well. You install your 2 screws. Snug them up, and then we will replace the rubber plug here. Unfortunately, our new brake pads did not come with new slide clips. If you have new slide clips, it's advisable to replace them when you do the work. I'm just going to clean these up with a wire brush, take them off, and then clean the behind here where it clips on, get any rust off of there, and then reinstall them. Next, what we'll do is remove the caliper pins here and clean them off, and then put some brake caliper grease on there. It's a special grease just for brakes. Next, I'm going to just put a very small amount of grease where the brake pads will slide. Just a very small amount. Then I'll load the brake pads. Now that the pads are installed, the one with the wear indicator goes to the rear, and I put a little bit of disc brake quiet on there, and reinstalled the pins after greasing them, and they move very freely now. We're ready to put it back on. Take the caliper bracket bolts, put a little bit of thread sealant on there. Now that those are tightened down, we will slide the caliper on. Push the pins in until they're lined up, and reinstall those bolts. And I will put a little bit of thread locker on that as well. Tightening up the bolts, you'll have to hold the caliper pin with a 17mm. Now that those caliper bolts are tight, we'll take and put the wheel on and torque that down, and we're ready to take it for a test. Well, then we have to pump the brakes to get the caliper to expand, and then we're ready to take it for a test drive. These on by hand to start them, and I'm going to run them down with the impact.